Hello students, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I hope you are able to see the screen also.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, madam. Hello, sir.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Good
Yes.
evening, one and all. I would like to welcome all the students, faculties present in the meet. It is with great pride and honor that we welcome our esteemed alumnus, Dr. Nikesh Kundar. Dr. Nikesh Kundar's academic journey has been sorry, he is presently serving as a research scientist at the University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center. Holding a PhD in cell and molecular biology, Dr. Kundar has made significant contributions to the field of cancer immunology and neuroscience, with numerous publications in reputed international journals. His presence among us today is especially inspiring for our students, as it reinforces the belief that strong academic foundations, when combined with commitment and curiosity, can lead to global achievement. I would like to welcome Dr. Nikesh Kundar, and I would like to hand over to the or start the session.
Uh, Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for your kind words, Glennis ma'am. It gives me great pride and joy to come back and talk to everyone. I can see so many familiar faces. I can see Sweta. I can see Maithili ma'am somewhere. I saw More ma'am somewhere. It brings back so much memories of the fun times that we had in 2013 and 2014, where when I was in the master's program in biotechnology, it any well essentially the goal of this session is for me to help if all of you all with the idea behind how education in the US works. I just want to make sure, am I audible to everyone? And can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
You all don't need to call me sir. It's fine. You all can just call me Nikhil. It's not. My so essentially the idea behind today's talk is just to give an overview of what is an academic career in the US, how students can approach it, what are the things that you need, what do universities look out for in a candidate, and ultimately, I want to give you all a very realistic uh, approach and advice regarding studies in the US, life in the US, like to current day setting, because things have changed drastically. Yeah. So to begin, first off, if you were asked, why even come to the US? What's the point of coming to the United States? Why is US considered as the best place for research? Well, to be quite honest, or fortunately or unfortunately, the United States has the most number of top ranking universities. If you take the top 50 universities in the entire world, you 22 of them within the United States. It's not that their education is any different than other top universities throughout the country, but all of them are just concentrated in one area. Since I live in the US and my experience is mostly with US admissions, that will be the major we say point of the topic of the talk. It's not that doesn't mean that other countries are bad. Uh, there are plus points to other countries as well that we can talk upon in the Q&A session later. The apart from it being where most universities right, most of the Nobel laureates that are in the world reside in the US. They have their labs in the US. All of their research is being funded by the US government. This is just like showing that the academic or research potential in the US is the top three. Whereas if you look at it from the biotech sector side as well, 40% of the market of biotech companies is within the United States. So there's a lot of what you say opportunities where in terms of you have for both research as well as industry research. It is truly a melting pot of science because if you look at me living here, it's not just Indian and Americans that come here. Many people from all over the world mark or like regard the US as the forefront of science. And even if they do their PhD in their home countries or in other countries, they would come for some scientific experience to the United States to take back to their country or to migrate over. So since we know that you want to come to the US to study, what essentially is the path of education in the United States? If we break down the US education system, it's like it's just in school here is considered till 12th grade, which is 12th standard. And after that, what we considered as graduation, they say undergrad. So their bachelor's degree is the 4-year program. So that's why by the time you finish your bachelor's, you have completed 16 years of education. We in India, unfortunately, don't have a 4-year program, at least in most colleges. Some institutes have it, very select. But because of this, if we want to come to the US to study, we need to have another 1 year after graduation. So you will do either a master's in India, you'll do it either for 1 year or you'll do it for two, complete it and come, or you will do some uh, other form of post graduation course where you'll have 1 more year of education. Once you finish your education, once you finish your graduation here, you have two paths to what they consider as graduate school, or what we say post graduation. You can either join a master's program or you can join a PhD program here directly. So one of the benefits of the United States is you don't need to do your master's first to come join the PhD program. If you've already completed 16 years of education, you can directly join a PhD program. Although, like, there is the other route as well. Like, if you don't get into a PhD program, you can join a master's program, gain experience to have an idea of what you want to do research in, and then eventually do a PhD if you want. In the US, there's no limit to education. You can do this at any time in your life. Like, I've seen people here who are like 50 plus, have multiple diseases, and still want to come to a PhD if they're truly interested. The master's program here is like, the goal of the program is divided basically to teach you a technical skill. It's a 2 year course. Within 2 years, there's not much that you can like grasp. So they want you to focus on skills that you can take, and then that can translate into the workforce or going into like the job market, basically. However, one of the drawbacks of the master's program is that it can be pretty expensive, because there is very rare that there are any master's programs that are fully funded. Some are partially funded, but most likely students that come here for a master's need to be self-funded. That is, take an education loan and pay for their education. Uh, Be forewarned that if you take an education loan, it is never 100% covered. You have to still, they can only cover 85%. The remaining 15% of your tuition, you still have to pay for. Paying or work given to you, you have to apply for it. And if you get selected, you will get it. And usually the funding sources for education are either, for the PhD student, it comes from research grants that the professor already has, or for a master's student, is usually through self-funding or personal. And then at the end of it all, depending on which course you do or which field you go into, there's a difference in return on investment as well. When you come here to do your education, you're investing a lot of money and time. And there are like, this purely in terms from the point of view of my field or our field of biotechnology or molecular biology or any field that is related to biology. Like, you can either go into an industry side or an academic side. And depending on whether you have a PhD or master's, the salaries that you get, your visas for working change a little bit. Job security, at least before, were different. Now I feel it's all the same because of the current scenarios. And finally, like, the function of each job is also different. Like, usually, if you have a PhD, which is it's considered as the highest degree that you can get here, you can earn good amount of money, which is like very lucrative if you join an industry. The same thing can be said for when you finish your masters and join a biotech company as well. They pay you very well, even though you have to work. You have to work hard, even though you get paid that well. But it is still comfortable to live very comfortably here and support family at the when you go back. When you work over here, there are visas that you need. Depending on whether you're an academic or industry, your visa uh, qualifications change a little bit. I'll try to touch upon later in the talk. Usually, at one point, academic jobs were like more stable as opposed to like industry jobs because one is like long-term research and the other one is like real-time, depend on the real-time markets. But now it's not the same. And lastly, it's like when you're in an academic job, the PhD, your goal or they're training you basically to be a research scientist, a supervisor, someone who has a lab and wants to run his own lab. Okay, so for that, you need to write grants, get funding. So that's the basic form of training. Whereas when you're in the industry side, you're more into um, developing assays, developing drugs, uh, technical skills or transferable skills that will basically help make the company money. This is applied both for PhD as well as masters. It's just that when you have a master's degree and in an industry, unfortunately, after a point, you reach a cap in your career growth and you have to do either a PhD or some other form of like degree like MBA, something to push you so that they can promote you to higher up. So based on getting here into the US, what are the things that you would actually need as a student? The United States, like each and every university over here, looks at five different things in terms of a candidate profile. You need an undergrad GPA, a bachelor GPA, or a master GPA. Basically, you need a GPA. You need a statement of purpose, which is basically an essay saying who are you, why are you interested in coming to this university, and how will this university help achieve your goals in life. Letter of recommendation, then research experience, and standardized tests. Now, if you look at the graph on the right, it essentially shows how a university grades or matches the candidate depending on the specific course you're in. Now, for example, if you're in the master's program, uh, your GPA, your GRE score may matter. There are some universities that have stopped taking GREs or they make it optional. But my opinion is since you're international students and you're coming here to the US, it might be beneficial to do the GRE and have a good score so that it just makes your case stronger. Because when you have to think about it, as an international student, you are competing with students who are already here in the US. So you need to uh, make your case as strong as possible. You, as a master student, the research experience is beneficial but not that important. It's like they basically look at what are your scores. Like when I joined as a master student initially, my scores were not that great. So that did- didn't open many university doors for me. But fortunately, I was able to come to UT Dallas. But if I had gotten a better score, I would have maybe gotten into a better university in a different city altogether. So essentially, since the goal for masters is more like technical skills, research is important, but not that important. Whereas when you consider a doctoral program, all of these things matter because here the admission committee looks at you from a holistic approach where they will give weightage to everything. So even if your even if your GPA is bad or if your GRE scores are not that great, if you have strong letter of recommendation, if your research experience is like very good, or if your statement of purpose is very good, any of these can like tip the scales into your favor. Usually the process how it works over here is you have at least for masters you may or may not have an interview that happens once you give your admission, but for a PhD program there's definitely an interview process. So once you give your application, they'll filter you based on these three things. And once you're selected, they will send you an invitation to interview with the program. And depending on how well you do in your interview, you get you will get the admission letter later. Essentially, this is like the timeline for how to prepare for coming to the US in terms of the from start to finish, from early in the year to later on. So the first step that you need to pay attention to is that define what do you want to do uh, in your education. Like now, like for me, for example, I did my bachelor and master's in biotech. And what I realized as a field, biotech made me a jack of all trades, but the master of none. You get to learn everything, but you don't get to specialize in one specific field. So I was very clear with the point that I wanted to choose something that is very basic, but that can apply it into like different fields. Be it, when I say fields, just like, for example, I did my degree in cell and molecular biology, but then I can apply to different fields of research. I can do cancer research, I can do immunology, I can do neuroscience, because at the end of the day, everything has some components of molecular biology, or there are labs that use molecular biology in these fields of research. So I was very clear as to what I wanted to do. And then based on that, you can try to gain some research experience in that if you can. If not, gain any research experience, no matter what. Study hard for your exams, give them, prepare for them. It takes a good amount of time to prepare for this because you really need to ask hard questions, whether with respect to what you want to do, and you do work hard to prepare for the exam. When I was coming, unfortunately, like I wish if I didn't take a gap, I didn't have much time to prepare. I didn't try that hard. If I did, it would have been much better for me. I honestly believe. Once you have all of this ready, you then move on to the next phase, which is collecting all the documents that you need. Essentially, you would need to get your transcripts from both uh, like undergrad and from graduate school and postgraduate school. You'll have to make your CV. You'll have to make your letters of recommendation. You have to ask people who can recommend you. You'll have to make your statement of purpose. You'll have to collect all your documents. Here in the US, since the US GPS system is different from the Indian GPS system, you have to do something called as a WES. It's a it's basically accreditation to that converts Indian GPA to US GPA. So you have to do that and have that ready. And once you have all your documents ready and your test score is ready and all, you can start submitting your applications. So usually applications open in early August, July to August, and they end or deadlines for applications in December to February. I think this year most applications ended in December, but usually that was the case where it would be December to Jan or to Feb. So you have to basically go to the online website of the university, pay the application fee, which bear in mind is $100 for each university that you pay for. And so if you have a good score and you have a very strong score, you can then think about you good universities that you want to apply to, and then some safety universities to keep, so that because then on one end it might be hard, but on the other end, like you'll definitely get into it. And then last is once the evaluation committee sits, looks at your application and everything, they'll then give emails for interviews. This usually happens by December or Jan to be more precise. And once you have an interview invitation, that's a very proud moment. When you prepare for your interview, you essentially have to, the idea that you will meet with different professors in the department, and you can talk to them about their research. They will talk to you about your It's basic. An interview here is a two-way process. They are interviewing you as to how good of a student you are and how well you will be able to handle a PhD or a master's program and how well you'll be able to do research. While the other way around is also true. You are interviewing them as to like how good their lab is, uh, how much funding do they have, how good their department is, how well the department can support you, how well their work environment is like, so that it's always a two-way street. And then lastly but not least, by sometime March or May, you get the decision for acceptance or a rejection. And if you're accepted, you will get your corresponding documents as well. As international students, one of the documents that are very important for us is an I-20. So that is the one document that says that we got admission into the university, and for immigration purposes it is very important. But knowing all of this is easy. But what is the main thing that you have to focus on? What I just showed you in a previous slide is just a unidirectional timeline where like you do this, you do this. But then there are some unsaid rules to applying to graduate school or to applying to research labs. And to be successful in it, there's a part A and part B. So in part A, there are like two sections. One is like, I cannot stress about this enough. It is very, very important to select a research lab that you want to do. I understand that you are passionate for, like, for example, you are passionate for cancer biology. You want to study. Fine. But that is just a surface level selection. Within that, you want to make sure how good of a mentor you get. Like within cancer biology, there are different subfields. And within that, you want to make sure that your supervisor has good mentoring skills, has like even good amount of funding, has what do you say, a good track in publications. Because at the end of the day, when you come here to study, if you're in a PhD program, definitely publications matter more than anything else because you're spending so much time and effort. So the more publications you get out, the better it is. And essentially, it is very important. Like even if, say for example, even if your PI is famous, but his lab doesn't have that much funding, which is usually not the case. Famous PIs have good funding. But basically the idea is that you want to make sure that you choose someone who has a good mentoring style. You fit into their lab because or the lab fits with you can adapt in their lab very easily. Because if you think about it, when you do a PhD program, it's a 5 to 7 year commitment. If you that's why you need to think and decide very carefully that will you be able to maintain your enthusiasm for those 5 years. One way to go about it is you can like talk to people in the lab, contact PIs, ask them to connect you to their students or any like employees or postdoc working in their lab, so that you get an idea of how well the lab is, about the funding, etc. You want to make sure that a PI has money which is funding, because when they have more money, you can do science. The science here, it's very circular. You get grants to do research. You do research so that you get grants. So it's this endless cycle. So when one stops, the other thing cannot continue ahead. You need to make sure that they have funding. And lastly, you want to make sure, which is not, I don't consider that important, but it's good to know. Like it never hurts you. Like if you have PIs, they usually try to highlight where their alumni or like old lab members went to. If they went to the academics, industry, how successful they are, because your success is the lab success, the lab success is your success. If you get what I'm saying. And then secondly is like you need to make sure that you contact the PIs very well. Because if you can impress, by PI I mean a principal investigator who has a lab in that university. So you need to be able to reach out to them. Do that, because if you can impress them, they could make it easier for you to get admission, or if not, at least once you get admission, you have a lab that you can already go to for your first rotation. It also, you have to do the work to read their papers, tailor an email showing your interests, how can they ask them questions about the program, etc. And then you should usually send their CV so that they know who you are, what you've done. And they can also see if you are a good fit for their lab. And ultimately, if you wait politely for their reply, if they don't, you give them, you follow up with them. Usually people reply over here. Sometimes they don't. And if you don't get a reply after a very long time, you should just assume that uh, either you're not a good fit or they are just so busy. Second part to success in graduate school is to write a strong statement of purpose. Having a PI is one thing, or reaching out to a PI and showing enthusiasm and XYZ, that's one thing. But the second thing is actually putting the time and effort into tailoring your SOP. Because this is what the admission committee reads. So you want to make sure that you have a very cohesive essay that defines your journey. What are your goals? They don't want to know what like your childhood dreams were, or like, many people say like, oh, as a child, I always wanted this XYZ. They want clear, defined, what do you say, goals and metrics. Like, show me what you've done, and don't just tell me, show it to me. Explain to me exactly how you made this better. So if you've done an experiment, or if you studied this, how you done it, what you found out in your research, if you've done any prior research, or share your interests as to like why are you interested, or if you're interested in a particular research topic, why does this interest you? What is the gap in knowledge for this topic? All of these need to be like, you need to spend a lot of time and effort in guiding this. A good SOP always puts you in favor with the admission committee. And at the end of it, once you have this written, you have to spend a lot of time on it. So it's never the first draft. It's like draft 5, draft 10. Always have people read it. Once you've written it, have people read it. Make sure that it sounds good, if it can be improved, etc. Once you do all of this, once you get into a PhD program or a master's program, how different is the coursework? Essentially, if you split it in a master's program, as I mentioned before, is a 2-year program. So within those 2 years, like you are taking courses year long, like in both the years. It's just that your courses are divided into 4 fundamental courses that are non-optional. And then you have something as known as elective courses that you can choose. So you have a combination of both, and you're taking them throughout the 2 years of your master. The master student, and also the PhD student, you have an option of EPT, which is curricular practical training, where you can join internships. This usually happens after your first year. So during the summer, which is considered May to July over here, where you can do an internship in a company, gain some experience. I do have to say it is highly competitive. Uh, Your students do applications on applications just to get interviewed. And once you crack the interview, then only you get a position. So it is, people fight for it. And fortunately or unfortunately, this becomes more of an issue in like master students that have a lot more like for example, computer science or IT management, where like there are a lot more students, a lot more like companies, etc. For terms of biotechnology, uh, it may or not be it may not be that difficult, but it depends on like how close you are. Because sometimes companies don't want to relocate you if you're in a very far away state, and whereas here in the US, the biotech sector is concentrated between California and Boston. So if you are not anywhere close by, they may not take you, or they might prefer to take a local student. But at the end of it all, after 2 years, you have to basically give exams. Once you pass your exams, you get a GPA, you can graduate. Some master's programs have a thesis option. Like my university, I could either graduate with a master's with or without a thesis option. Uh, like I transitioned into PhD before that, but my colleague of mine, she did the thesis option. So in the last semester, you do a small project, you write a thesis on it, and you submit it to the committee. That's it. Usually, we as students in biology, since we want to gain research experience and research skills, we usually join, even as a master student, you will join a lab that does research so that you can acquire the skills. If you don't join, because since internships may or may not be easy, but as a PhD student, it's completely different. For the first 2 years, you are again, it's the same. You take courses, but once you finish, you're doing research as well. You rotate through a couple of labs to make sure which lab is a good fit, which projects do you like. Uh, uh, you explore your interests there. In what environment do you feel the lab environment is good for you, etc. And once you found a lab, you reach out to the PI, tell them I want to join, they accept you. But after 2 years of your PhD, you do something called as a candidacy exam, which is basically you have to propose a research idea that you are working on, which will be your thesis, which may or may not be your thesis project, but usually you write it in such a way that it is a thesis project. You have to identify gaps in knowledge, and you have to put it forward to a committee and explain to them why studying this is important and how will you do it. I know this sounds difficult. It is not that difficult because here the support system, your PI, your colleagues all help you in doing it. So it is not something to be worried about. But this is like essentially is the formal training that you get as an independent scientist to like be able to literature review the field, understand where there is a niche that you can, what do you say, a niche that you can fill with a scientific question that you are interested. And once you finish or pass your candidacy exam, you are a PhD candidate and not a PhD student anymore. And then you are basically just doing your thesis projects, you're doing other projects in the lab. This is the largest chunk of your PhD, where you can spend 3 to 5 years or even more, depending on how well your research works, how well your science works, etc., or any of the other problems. And at the end of it, you have a final dissertation defense where you present your findings to the committee and to the public. By public, I mean students in the university. And you there have a question and answer session, and then they decide whether you be able to pass or not. This also seems very daunting right now, but there are so many meetings or presentations that you do throughout your PhD, as well as the fact that you will, what do you say, practice and people support you, this is not that difficult. It is scary, but there is always anxiety with things that you do, which sounds scary. Once you finish all of this, you graduate. What next? Like having coming again, as I mentioned before, education is expensive, both time and in money. So once you graduate in the US, what are your options? Essentially, as any what do you say, graduate student in a STEM field, which is like science, technology, electronics, and math, you have the option of a STEM OPT. So as a graduate student, you come here on an F1 visa that you need to maintain for sure, because if you violate any of the rules for the visa, you are instantly removed from the country. So as a graduate, as a student, you have to be very, very mindful about your immigration status. I cannot stress upon this more. Once you graduate, you have an option of STEM OPT, which basically is a program that allow built into graduate school that allows international students to gain some experience after graduation. So when you apply first, you get it for 1 year, and then you extend it for another 2 years. So you get it for a total of 3 years. Now, within these 3 years, if you want to continue working in the US, you have to switch visa class so that you can stay. Otherwise, once your OPT is done, you have to go back to India, your home country, and uh, like apply for a second visa from there. If that's your goal in life, that like you want to study here, get some experience, come back to India, this works out perfectly for you. If you want to continue to stay, you essentially have to change your visa class either to an H-1B visa, which is a work visa, or a J-1 visa, which is a research exchange scholar visa. The J-1 visa, I usually people usually want to get an H-1B visa because it's a work visa. It is far less restrictive than the J-1 visa, because the J-1, some universities offer that. Uh, it is your choice whether you want to take it or not. And uh, within the J-1 visa, you have two options. Sorry, within the H-1B visa, you have two different classes depending on which sector that you work in. If you work in the public sector, which is non-profit organizations like research institutes or universities, you have something called as a cap exempt H-1B. Whereas if you work in the private sector, you have something called as capped H-1Bs. The only difference is that when you work in the private sector, your company has to file for your H-1B visa. At least before, it was lottery based. So you would, every year there would be a lottery. If your name gets picked, you'll be given the visa. If not, you have to try again next year. It was luck based. Now they've changed the rules for it, and I am unsure as to how it would impact the the pool of H-1Bs here. Cap exempt visa, H-1B visa is basically you have no lottery system. You can apply any time in the year. It's used by what do you say, research institutes and universities. The only drawback between these, even though both of these visas are H-1B, they are not interchangeable. So once you get a job as a research scientist in a company, you you may be able to switch into in the to an academic position easily, because they'll file for it anytime in the year and they might even get it. But once you join a university or a research institute and you say you want to go and work for a biotech company, that is not that easy. It is very hard. A lot of things have to align, and it's the at the end of the day, whichever field you choose, until you change your immigration status, you're stuck in it. By that I mean you immigrate into the US via green card. Uh, yes, basically. So this is just to highlight the differences of each and every visa type that is there. So like as I mentioned before, the STEM OPT is to usually give people training. It's for 1 year plus 2 for 3 years in total. One important thing is like your employers need to be e-verified, which is just it's a small process online. Only they can hire and students and give them OPT extension. Meaning it's not they are the only ones who can hire students on OPT and give them OPT extension. If you can work for a non e-verified employer, but you will not get the extension. So that's very important. The benefits of this is like you're basically it's formal training, but again, your choosing your employer very important for your legal status. Depending on whether you have capped and non-capped H1B, I mentioned what the what do you say drawbacks and benefits. But essentially, it's a 6-year visa total. You get it for 3-year chunks for a total of 6 years. After which you have to go back home. And lastly is the J1 visa. So as I mentioned, this is a exchange scholar visa. It's usually for 5 years for in total. And one of the clauses in the J1 visa is that once you finish the 5 years, you have to go for a 2-year. You have to give service in your home country for 2 years. Meaning, say for example, you came here on a J1 visa, you finished 5 years, and you say you want to go and shift to an H1B visa. You cannot do that until you stay for 2 years in India and come back. Initially, during last year, they removed this clause. Now I'm not sure if they put it back or not. So it would be beneficial to verify forehand. The last thing I want to stress upon is like whatever I've done so far is like talk all the good things. Like how do you apply? What are the benefits? But one thing that no one talks about, and I feel like when I was a student here applying, I had looked at science and the US with a very rosy eyes. But life here is not easy. Like you need to think about that you are away from home. You are in a different country, which is thousands of. It's not like going from Bangalore to Maharashtra or stay Karnataka or go to from Tamil Nadu to Karnataka. It is just you will never you will meet your parents maybe once in a while. Even if you want to like meet them often, it is expensive. You have to fly. You need to make sure your visa allows you to fly because sometimes like when you're working here, your visa can expire. You still be you still have other documents that help you work in this country. But then once you exit the country, you can't come back without having a valid visa. For that, you need to go to the US embassy in India and then apply for your visa again. Like there's a lot of stress baked in with your immigration status as well as like research. Like research is very, very stressful. I cannot, what do you say, stress, I cannot like say less. Like when I was a graduate student, like even if you have a supportive lab, your PI is supportive, your your results can drain you. Like you will compare yourself to other people. You'll feel because you'll see your peers like get results very easily while your project is lagging behind or not working. You'll feel isolated. You will if you come here as a master student, and if you have student loans, that financial burden, you will feel it. You as a student here initially, you have no one. You just have like maybe roommates that you met for the first time. So you will have time, you will feel isolated, you may have time connecting with the people here, with your lab mates, with the culture here. Like The US culture is very different. Like in India, like you will, when you come here, you will instantly understand. Like here, people are more assertive of their rights. They are more like, in India, you have like, it's a different nature. Like you be respectful, but no one asserts your what you say, the things that you want. Like here, people are not rude, but they are assertive. If I don't know how well to explain, they'll tell you like, these are the things I want. Like they know what they need in life. The way they interact with you is very different. So understanding that and uh, juggling a new country can be very difficult for an international student. The healthcare system, legal system is very difficult. But majorly you feel homesick. This all plays a toll on you. So bear in mind of all of this before even coming here to or going anywhere abroad. Like you are not at home. So you have to have that determination, or like, if you think, will you be able to do this away from home? And apart from that, there are very selective pressures. Like for India, at least, like we, the H1B is a constant struggle for us. Whether we'll get it, not get it. If you come here, you paid student loans, so there's a high burden. Like, need to graduate, I need to get a job, I need to support my family. All of these expectations are there, so that just builds. And if you're vegetarian, US is going to be a bit hard. I have no other way to say it. But if they are also depending on which city or which state you're in. Most places are very like diverse in their food cuisine. You get Indian food here, but otherwise it becomes very difficult. But majorly research is draining, and I want you guys to be prepared for it, because no one prepared me when I was a student. I like, people told me that it's hard, but you truly don't understand how hard it is once you finally stepped in those shoes. So my key takeaways for this point after all of this talking is that choose your field of study and supervisor wisely. You need to take the time to understand uh, what field you want to choose, and don't choose it from the point of view of just studying. Think about long term. Like, are there jobs available in this field? What the salary expectations are in these jobs? All like, factor all that in mind. Uh, Choose your supervisor correctly, because you want to make sure that your supervisor is very supportive, has a good mentoring style, very hands-on, or has funding, etc. You need to spend time preparing for a GRE. Don't make the mistake that I made. Because if you have a good score that it can boost you, you can get into better universities. Like, if you have like other, like, what do you say, avenues like LOR or SOP is strong, then if you don't have a great GRE score, it's fine. There are many universities over here you will get into. For the master's program, do try to get some funding or tuition assistance. There are many scholarships online that you can apply for, like Fulbright, or the university itself might have some scholarships that you can apply for. Please make sure that universities have teaching and RA positions for master students. If this is there, then it's a game changer. Because you can get paid for TAing or RAing, and your tuition can be halved as well. There are some master's programs, like for example in MD Anderson, where tuition is also 100% covered. Like this, there are other universities as well where a master's student also pays nothing. So try to target those courses, because currently the dollar rate is 90 rupees a dollar. So in an average like tuition here is 1,300. Like in 2016, it was $1,300 per semester. That is half a year. So you're spending twice like that. So imagine how much that translates into Indian currency. So if you plan to come to the US for a master's, be sure that you have the financial backing for it. In terms of PhD, imagine the toughest thing that you've done in life and multiply it by infinity. Because something or the other, like burnout is real, fatigue is real, and it's going to take a toll on you. If you're doing PhD in India, at least your parents are close by. The culture is different. Like it's more homely. Here, it's completely different. Like you feel very isolated. And lastly, my last take is when you're doing studies abroad, be practical and think long term. What I mean by that is try to think, do you want to immigrate into this country? Do you want to have permanent residentship or not? If what I mean is basically you want to settle abroad. If that is your goal in mind, then you have to choose your countries wisely. US is not the country for that. Unfortunately for Indians.
Saraswati,
So
that's a
and that comes to an end to the discussion. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to me ramble. And if you have any questions, I am more than happy to take them. Hey, Mithili ma'am.
Hi, Nikesh. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm great. So
Thank
glad to
you.
see you after such a long time.
I am. It brings back memories.
Sure, sure. Good. Your talk was exceptional. Really,
Thank
I
you.
mean,
I tried my
you
best.
literally navigated our students through US education system, like right from the grad school to till the PhD, and wonderfully you shared the realistic, I can say, unfiltered insights.
It is. I feel as a student, like when I was coming to the US, I didn't look that hard. मतलब मैं ऐसा अच्छा लगा and I went for it. I looked at maybe courses, but
Right.
my view was very like short-sighted. I didn't think long term as to like what truly the job market is like. What do I want to immigrate into this country? How hard it is? Or like if these are the questions, if that's your goal in mind, you have to think about them. Like other countries like Sweden, Germany might have a better immigration policy, but like they have they may or may not have language barriers, but it's right now in the current scenario, it makes it easier to like settle there. Like even if you go to Canada, it's a bit easier than the US still, even though Canada is becoming more strict as well. Like
Right.
you have to choose very wisely because there's a lot of time and effort that it's your life. You're going to once you make the decision, you have to I, either let it see it through, finish
Correct.
all your obligations, and either come back, or if you decide to stay there, then you have to choose wisely to make sure that whatever time you spend builds towards it. Meaning, it's fine if things don't work out and if you have to move. It's just difficult. That's all.
Right. So I really like appreciate you for taking the like a
Mm.
big leap actually. Like from the year that you moved to US for your PhD. And your talk really shared the like unfiltered insights to help
Mhm.
students prepare realistically. Right.
Yeah,
Usually we think that the people who go there for studies, it is all, fancy and
it's
it
not.
doesn't exactly. So it is a kind of a harsh reality, of course, which, the students need to understand. It is like, it tougher than it looks, but it is, I can say it is rewarding if you, adapt smartly.
Mhm.
Hmm. So
Like,
thank you
don't.
very, very much. Yes,
Oh,
yes, please.
most welcome. Don't mind me. I'm very cynical. Like, my outlook in life is like, I पूरा मान के चलो तो अच्छा जाए.
Correct.
But because like you keep your expectations low so that if something goes bad, you are not that disappointed. But one thing you have to do, if you assume that the US is just New York and New York ka chamak, that is not there everywhere. This is
Right.
if US through movies is not the US. The US has Gao as well, has like illiterate people as well. It is to demystify that.
Right. And I'm so glad when you know say like the vegetarian
Mm.
people really need to, they find their time like hard, difficult.
Yeah, they find it very hard. Like I've seen people struggle over it. Like then they have what else? There's nothing else you can do.
Right. So it is not only the academic aspect, but also the emotional aspect that you showed to students. Because being staying in a family when the parents are around and suddenly you are like moved 1,000 miles away, so it takes emotional toll, right?
It does. And because imagine like you throughout your life you have festivals like Ganpati, Diwali, all like you celebrate all that. You have fun with your friends. You go out. Like in India, like you can get up and go out, roam. You can for like vada pav, you hang out with friends and all very easily because it is easily it's cost effective also, not that expensive. Here it's a different ball game. Like here every day you can't go out for like bahar chalte hai, hang out karte hai. You money it costs differently. You don't like if you have Indian friends here and you form a community, it is well you can like celebrate within, but like within your small family that you have here. But it's not the same. Like you will miss your parents, you'll miss like especially if you've grown up in a big joint family, then the adjustment is very hard.
Right. Uh, yeah. So now, shall we open the session for question answer session?
Yes.
Okay. Students, if you are
Be
having any
anything.
kind
I'll
of
be
question,
as honest as possible.
sure. So if you are having any questions, you can unmute yourself, Shraddha, rather than putting in a chat box. It's better if you raise your hand so that I can call out your names. And yeah, Komal has asked one question, Nikesh. She
Mhm.
wants to ask whether the IELTS test is compulsory.
So here, yes, I forgot to mention that in my talk that yes, you do have to do a English speaking course, because it's an English speaking country. You need to show proficiency in English. So you can do your TOEFL. You people do TOEFL here for the United States. IELTS, you can do your IELTS. I remember, like, I had done my IELTS before because I was initially planning to go to Germany. But then I had joined a counselor over here, and he mentioned that you could convert your IELTS into TOEFL, something like that. But you need, yes, but you need some English speaking test. That is compulsory. You can't escape that.
Okay. And there's
But that is
another
relatively,
question. Ha, sorry.
yes. No,
Please
no.
go ahead.
The TOEFL test is relatively easy. You just practice. It's just basically your read. They want to see if you can read, uh, write, and talk English decently, so that you can hold a community. You can hold a conversation with someone in the US. You don't have to be exceptional. You just need to be able to communicate well. That's all.
Okay. I guess Komal, you got your answer.
I think
Uh,
so. Students, you can unmute yourself and you can ask question. Feel free to ask question.
Yeah, don't worry. मैं इधर ही था. ये मोरे मैम है, मैथिली मैम हूँ, मैं टीचर.
I just want to tell about Nikesh. Rohan sir is also there in the meet. So he is also
I can
listening
see.
you. And within 5 minutes, Deepa ma'am will also join. I still remember, I would like to tell one word about Nikesh. He's so humble, down to earth, and a very nice student and a person itself. And this is what had
ma'am attack. It feels like it feels nice to come back. It's so good.
Exactly. We still remember we used to call you Dr. Nikesh right from your PG.
Now it's real.
Yes,
From
exactly.
such a person, I still remember your voice. Hello, sorry if
Uh,
I'm. Can
No,
you
ma'am,
hear me?
please. Yes, yes,
no,
ma'am.
ma'am,
Please go
continue.
ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Photovoltaic cell, right, Nikesh?
The plant sensitized.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
And it was like one proposal, then no, he has to again make for the other proposal, another proposal till he gets to that topic.
I guess there is a network issue.
yeah, network connection with
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, issue back.
yeah.
Hello, ma'am.
More, ma'am.
yeah, let student ask the questions now because this is their program. So I want students to unmute yourself.
You all don't have to be shy. It's fine. Like if you'll ask me in Hindi also, it's fine. मैं हिंदी में ही बोलेगा. ऐसा कोई problem नहीं.
Student, the session is for you, all of you. So you can unmute yourself and ask the questions.
Like you can even ask me questions with like how like I have some semblance of an idea of PhD even in India. Like if you have any questions regarding that, you can ask me because I've spoken to many people here who've done PhD here in India in good institutes and come here to do postdoctoral research. So I always wanted to have a sense of how research in India is like if you're in IIT or like IISC. So like I have some idea, but it, I may not be true. Meaning I may not be updated on it right now. But if you have any questions, feel free.
I guess Shraddha has unmuted.
Yeah.
Shraddha?
Yes. Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
you are.
So my question is for you as a student after undergrad, should we opt
Mhm.
for a wet lab based jobs or MBA or shall opt for an MSc? And if MSc, then specialization has to be in a biotech or any other stream per?
My question is like which it depends on which market are you targeting? Are you like targeting India or the US? In
I'm targeting abroad, like US and other countries.
so you can see it depends on what you are interested in. Practically like most labs are wet lab based, although I consider what I say dry labs are like bioinformatics is like very lucrative and very like niche skill in demand because the what you say the the way research works right now is like everyone is doing these big uh, genomic um, say or big like what do you say high throughput high data set assays where the only way by which you can analyze that is with the help of bioinformatics. So if you feel you have what do you say an interest in that, you can definitely go ahead. uh, I do have to preface that when you if you choose bioinformatics as your course, you do need to know how to code. Like you do need to be able to write Python or write some form of Java or R so that with some coding language you'll need to know or eventually learn throughout your PhD. If you if you want to do a master's, go ahead. But again, it's a cost thing. Do you if you think that you will be able to financially support yourself or get into fully funded programs, then by all means, it depends on like what you have, how much you can do is what I say.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you,
Well,
ma'am.
Yes,
one
Aditya?
oh, give me 1 second. Can you give me
Yes,
a
yes.
minute?
Yeah, sure.
Still. Hmm? Sorry. I have a kid, so I'm like, it's difficult.
Yes. Okay. Aditya, from first year, he wants to ask you a question.
Good
Yes.
evening to everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
So my question is that which subject or skill should I focus on during my bachelor's to prepare for biotech in USA or in other
I would,
country?
more than biotech, I would select, ask you to choose another field like I like focus on like core courses like small bio or like immunology, something like that that has more like marketable application. Here because here biotech, there are not many courses that have biotech particularly. It's more of the fundamental sciences like biochemistry, neuroscience, etc. So you can choose to study whatever you want. There are no prerequisites for when you come to study here. You like they'll just see your scores and your GPA for all that existing. But once you get into a program, then you choose what you want to learn or research.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. There's one question. Uh, what emerging biotech trends should young professionals pay close attention to if they're targeting US as a career option?
Like if you like most of the work that is here is like in the US, cancer research is still very high in demand because everyone is like either trying to understand cancer or has some form of immunology based research. So you can, if anyone is doing any CAR T cell therapy, trying to understand any cell therapy or immunotherapy, that was something of interest. Most jobs here are also geared towards some form of cancer therapy or immunotherapy. Although there are like other forms like people still work on Alzheimer's and other neuronal diseases as well. But these would be the big three that broadly cover everything.
Okay.
Okay.
Another question here.
Maitri ma'am,
Yes,
I
yes, ma'am.
just welcome Principal ma'am.
Yes.
She has just joined. Deepa ma'am is here. Uh,
Sneha madam,
Nitesh
just
sir?
give me a couple of seconds, please.
Yes, sure. So we'll just continue with the session. She is here in the meet. So meanwhile, she will be unmuting herself. We'll continue with the rest of the questions. Maitri ma'am, you can take one more question.
Okay, okay, ma'am. So Nikesh, the another question is, what is the difference between fully funded program and a tuition weaver, and which is more common for international students in our field?
So, like tuition waiver is on fully funded is essentially the same, where you because here as a student, your major costs are the tuition and is your tuition. So as a PhD student, that is 100% waived. You don't pay anything. As a master's student, you have to pay for it. But there are some programs that even have fully funded master's program. So it means the same in a way. Uh, you just need to make sure that if you're in a master's program, that whichever university that you're going to has opportunities for you to have either an on-campus job or work as a TA or RA, so that you can have some amount of, like, you have a livable expense. Because when you think about it, your tuition is not the only expense that you have. You also have daily expenses: rent, food, electricity, internet, uh, transportation. All of this matters. So, like, if you have no source of income here as a master's, if you have to then get all that money from home, so you should keep that in mind. And it is like there's nothing known as common or not. There are both programs are readily available. It's just that which ones do you apply to? That's all.
Okay. Um, I'll take another question.
Mhm.
Um, Due to the new education reforms, our biotechnology curriculum now includes computer science. Uh,
Mhm.
the students is interested in pursuing bioinformatics for her master's or PhD abroad. So, apart from their current biotech and computer science coursework, what additional skills or knowledge should they start building right now to be competitive for international programs and research? So, before this thing, our education policy has changed. So,
Mhm.
now we are having multiple electives and also a part of another stream, like we are offering IT, CS, DS as a kind of a minor subject
Okay.
to our biotechnology students, along with our like our core component.
Okay. No, it's like if you like as I mentioned before, you should have experience in coding. But then to set yourself apart, you should try doing small projects. Like try show your proficiency in coding, understanding these model systems, analyzing data. Like you if you can like get some experience here in India as well, it will be very beneficial for you, because then that just plays into your advantage, especially for like if you want to do something in bioinformatics. Like if you make your portfolio, it adds to your application.
Okay.
Like
Sneha ma'am? Yes, Mukesh.
oh no,
You're saying
nothing,
something.
nothing.
I think so. One more question is there in chat box.
Shall I take that?
Uh, yes.
Okay. So Nikesh, another question is, which biotechnology specialization have the highest demand in the USA right now? Now, if it is like like he has asked, if the master's degree is sufficient or a PhD is preferred for core biotech roles.
So the thing in the US, I have to be very like frank. Like for as an international student to penetrate the biotech market is very, very difficult, because companies, if usually startups don't have the funding to support uh, the H-1B visa. They don't have a legal team, or they don't have the initial capital to apply for your application. So startups are very difficult to penetrate. And then like established companies may want either local professionals or people who have a lot of experience. So, but it's not that it's impossible. I have known people who have gotten into the like biotech sector here after masters or after their PhD, but it is difficult. You have to apply a lot. You need to make sure that you're a good. They need to be impressed by your skill sets and everything. So if don't come to the US thinking that after studies, like the job market is easy. It is very, very hard. It is very, very competitive. And as an Indian, as an international person, it is very competitive. And right now, it is even more competitive. So think very carefully before coming. I have to preface this. And last, like you can like even after doing a PhD, you do have more doors opening. But you need to think about that you spend so many years in what do you say, studying, that you lose out on the work experience that you would have gained if you had just finished a master's and joined the workforce. There are pros and cons to everything, but you can get a job after each and any field that you do. That is not impossible. Hi, Deepa ma'am.
Hello, Nikesh. It's such a wonderful pleasure to see you here. I feel so happy to see you, and I'm
Mm.
sure your inputs and your experience, rather than your inputs, it's a journey from Mumbai to US and being there, achieving. It's a journey that you have experienced it on your own, and nothing can be better than your experience being shared firsthand. So I really feel so happy because having been known you for such a long time and the kind of person you are, I was very sure that you're going to do something really good and great with your life. And I'm really feeling
Thank
so
you.
happy.
I appreciate that. It was so nice. Like I feel like Viva gave me the foundation to like explore my research more than my undergrad college, and it took me places. Like there are other factors as well, like my wife being the biggest driver for all of this, and my parents as well. But it was good to be a part of Viva when I was there as a master's student. And those memories I always cherish and I like look back to.
Viva also feels the same, Nikesh, because uh, when a student gives this kind of feedback, that the kind of experience that they had with this institution is responsible for what they have achieved in their life and how their life has turned out to be, with respect to not only their life, with their careers also, something that they wish to do, which otherwise was not something that they must have thought initially. But then I'm so happy that yes, your wife, again, as you mentioned, was a biggest driver. So having known her also for such a long
Yeah.
time, I know the kind of uh, comfort, the kind of assurance, and the kind of faith that she had in you, or you had in her. Okay, that is only what made it possible that you all both could achieve the same kind of things. Maybe aage piche, maybe first you did something and then she did something. And yes, you rightfully mentioned your parents are the ones that you have supported you along with her.
There are
So
three
it's
people important. Sorry, four people important in my life right now. Two parents, one wife, and a son.
that's congratulations for that.
Oh,
So
thank you.
yes, congratulations. And I'm glad the next time when we have a session, definitely Nisha would be the one who would extend that. Even she would like to, because women in biotechnology is something that is also very important. It's like
Mhm.
the kind of there are so many women who have really done so great. But then when you start small, and then how you transform yourself because of being in a subject. So I'm sure next time Department of Biotechnology can ensure a talk by Nisha for women in biotechnology for sure.
Awesome. Good. Okay.
Sure,
I,
ma'am.
I,
Next time we'll surely invite her.
I
Actually,
have to
ma'am,
go.
there are two questions. Maybe you can just
Okay.
mail those questions to Nikesh if Nikesh is busy, maybe because he must be having his prayer commitment. So you can send the
We'll,
questions and maybe he'll reply later.
yes. You any question?
Sure, ma'am.
You know what? I can. Where is the chat? Uh, this is my email ID. Uh, Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Uh, you can reach out to me directly, or you can ask ma'am to, or you all can compile all your questions and send it to me also. That works fine. I will try to answer to them to the best of my capability.
Maitri ma'am, I guess Nikesh is also having some prior commitment. So let us,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
So I shall invite Shweta ma'am to give formal vote of thanks. Shweta ma'am, over to you.
Pratham, I'm just to
Yeah.
if you
Yeah,
begin,
yeah.
I just want to wish Nikesh a very happy life. I'm
My
just
God.
traveling, reaching home. Good to see you, and I guess everybody has conveyed everything. God bless you, Nisha, and
My God.
everybody at home.
Rohan
Okay.
sir. Wow.
Yeah. And thank you. I hope you recognize me.
Yes, I do. I will never forget.
Yeah. Chalo. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. On behalf of Department of Biotechnology and IQSC of Viva College, it is my distinct honor to propose the vote of thanks of this evening insightful session. First and foremost, we express our deepest gratitude to our esteemed alumnus, Dr. Dikesh Kundar and Dr. Nikesh. Thank you for taking time from your busy schedule to join us and share your invaluable journey and expertise. Your guidance on navigating research and higher education opportunity abroad has provided our students with a clear roadmap and the inspiration needed to pursue their goal academic ambitions. I will like also express my sincere thanks to our esteemed president of our trust, Mr. Hitendraji Thakur, secretary of trust, Mr. Aparna Thakur, treasurer Mr. Shikhar Thakur, Trust Coordinator Mr. KPN Kutty sir, and Viva Trust Management, IC Principal Dr. Deepa Verma, ma'am, Vice Principal Dr. Prajakta Paranspe ma'am, IQSC Coordinator Dr. Rohan Gavankar sir, and IQSC Co-Coordinator Dr. Anushri Kini ma'am for their support and encouragement in organizing such student-centric initiatives. Special thanks goes to the IQSC and the faculty member of Department Biotechnology. Your efforts in bridging the gap between our successful alumni and current students are truly commendable. Finally, I thank all the participants for your active engagement and thoughtful questions during the sessions. We hope the insights shared today serves as a catalyst for your future career in the science and research. Thank you all of you once again and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Shweta, for those kind words.
God bless the little toddler from all of us.
This
May
is
he
Neil.
always be
Hi,
blessed.
Neil.
Hi, Neil. He looks just like Nisha.
Oh my God, Nifty ma'am, you're the fifth person to say that.
I always
He
say
will
that.
truly,
Nikesh,
he will
is
truly,
Nisha around?
He's smiling.
Yeah.
I think she's gone to the,
She.
she's here. She just has to get ready.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh.
because we have not seen her for years. If she could have come into the same frame, we would have seen the entire family.
Oh,
Nevertheless, if she is busy, it's fine, but we just wanted to see.
give us a second.
Fine. I know you will not say no to me anyways.
such a cutie pie. Hi.
He was wondering, what is all, who are all these people? Mhm. Mhm.
So you have parent responsibilities as well now, Nikesh.
Yes, it is a different experience altogether. I
Yes.
will. Mm.
What all other things in the meantime, Ninisha is joining us,
Mm.
what is something that you are now contemplating doing there apart from what you're currently doing? But there's something that is actively going on in your mind that maybe a few years down the line you'd want to do.
Majorly, it's like here, like I'm open to doing it. Mostly my she's here.
Hi,
Hey, hi,
Nisha.
Nisha.
Nisha is the same.
Hi, Nisha. I guess it's years we have not seen you.
Right.
So
No.
Oh,
Nikesh
she.
finally accepted my
Right.
request, and Deepa ma'am has given a very good suggestion to connect with you. I hope you must be remembering me, Nisha, or since I'm the only one
He
who is not
has
on the
to have.
camera.
Wait, I'm. Let me disconnect
Yeah,
from
Nikesh is
my
on his
headphones.
earplug, so
I'm
Nisha
on
is
my
not able to.
headphones,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
she
correct,
can't hear
correct.
anything.
So we have been talking to
Just
only
hold.
Nikesh.
Nikesh.
No, there.
So I have to
Hi,
repeat
Nisha.
one more time.
Hi,
How are
Nisha.
you?
Nisha,
You
I
look
just
Oh,
still the
go on,
requested,
same.
Nisha, talk.
Nisha,
I
you look
just
still the same.
requested Nisha that I wanted to see you. And Deepa madam has given one good idea to the Department of Biotechnology, and Dr. Sneha ma'am is the head now. So I guess she will
Congratulations.
plan it soon. Yeah, and it is so nice to
Yes.
see you in one frame, is what I was telling Nikesh. So thank you very much for joining. I hope we have not bothered you.
No,
Oh,
no,
no.
I was just, he got up, he was having his milk and everything. So I'm like, okay, let me just finish all that.
Nisha, you still look the same the way you had come, when you had come to the institution
All
to
of
join
you
the
also,
master's.
all of you
Yes,
have not changed at
not
all.
changed at all.
It's
Only
You
I
all
have
amazing.
have,
changed. I have become more handsome.
wow. I want to see that,
Best.
sir. Come.
Yeah, wait, I'll just switch on my camera and I mean, I'm just traveling. I don't know. Can you see me now?
Eight
Yes,
number.
right.
You look the
I have
same,
to,
sir.
I have to reach home. I just left college with Deepa ma'am, but it is jump off for her and for me it's travel. So it's like neighborhood for her and for me it's taking a flight and reaching home. So I have to yet
Yes.
reach home. So this is you remember, I guess, the Viva.
Rohan, that's a
Yeah.
perk that I have. It's a hop, skip, and jump away for me from my workplace to my home. It's just next door. But
Wow.
nevertheless, so
Really? We'll go later when we go back to Mumbai. We'll go.
Mm,
We'll visit Viva, okay?
we'll visit.
thank you so much, Nisha. Thank you so much, Nikesh. And all the blessings to both of you as well as the little one. May you both be
Thank you.
prosperous. May you both get everything that you deserve and you be successful and give back to and we as I mentioned earlier also, women in that journey you can definitely explore. So all the very best. God bless to all of you. And I'm
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Nice seeing all of
Nice
you.
seeing all of you guys.
So bye, all of you.
Same here.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Take
Take
care.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Maithili ma'am, can I take an exit?
Yes, sir. Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
thank you.
sir.
Yeah, no, because now battery is almost dead.
meeting coordinator can end the call for everybody so that everybody can leave the meeting.